Welcome to another Figuring Out Japan video. We sell all the coolest Japanese collectibles and figurines straight out of Japan, and you can check out more details about us in the description of this video, including our eBay store and our Facebook page. So this video is not going to be a review per se, it's going to be just a look back at, in particular, the Sculptures series of figurines that was released by Banpresto in Japan. So it's going to be an informative video, and hopefully you can learn a lot from watching it. So firstly, let's get straight into it. So back in 2011, Banpresto released a line of figures that actually goes by three names. The first name is the Sculptures, which is usually the name we use just because it's the easiest for foreigners to kind of identify with. The other two names is the Tenkaichi Budokai, which literally translates as how could you translate it? Under Heaven Martial Arts Meeting, so it basically means World Tournament. And then the last one is this one, which is Zo-kei, which refers to the type of manufacturing process or molding process that's used for these figures. So it actually goes by three different names. And a lot of you actually would have seen the Series 5 released this year, and probably been collecting those. So what I'm actually really going to be showing you in this video is Series 1, where it all began. So just as a comparison for size, firstly, you can see the difference that the figures in the first line were actually much bigger, or the box, sorry. So these are a 180 by 120 by 90, although the Raditz is a bit bigger. This box was 200 by 170 by 120, that's all in millimeters, which is actually even bigger than the MSP figures released. You can see that the box is bigger. So whoa! Sorry, I just knocked a very valuable figure. That's alright, these ones are from my collection. So yeah, so very big boxes, but the figures themselves, he looks okay, that's alright. The figures themselves actually are not that much bigger than the new series. So if I actually show you some of those figures here, so you can see the Raditz is, pretty much the same size. Like obviously he's in a crouch stance, actually a bit bigger than the Piccolo. The Bardock pretty much the same as the Goku and some of the taller figures. So I guess Banpresto have just worked on compacting their figures a little bit more tightly into the boxes. Now the reason why these figures were called the World Tournament figurines is mainly because the idea that Banpresto actually came up with was to get a bunch of their best sculptors to each make a figurine, and then people could actually vote. So they were released in like kind of lots of two, and people could vote which figure they liked the best, and then ultimately a winner was decided. And the winner for this series was actually the Piccolo, a little bit surprisingly, but I mean, I would say it was my second best. I personally like the Goku the best, and interestingly now I think Goku as a collector's item seems to sell for a lot more in Japan, so people voting with their wallets kind of did vote Goku number one, but Piccolo, I mean, they're all great figures. So that's why they called it the World Tournament. Now in subsequent series, they changed the format a little bit because basically people would just vote for which one they liked the best, and then a winner was announced, and that would actually be printed on the box of the figure. So for example, I have here Trunks. This was from Series 4. You can see Trunks has got here printed that it was the winner of that particular line. But actually for Series 5, they actually did it in lots of two. Sorry, I know I'm moving the camera around. And actually Goku and Bardock were, as a set, announced as the winner. So they have changed the format a little bit, and for Series 6 coming out next year, people could actually vote for which figure they like, which character they wanted to be made before the figures were actually produced. Which to me maybe suggests that this series is coming to the end of its life. I don't know. Now the other thing that this series has actually done is this was in Series 2, they started to release figures in a more dramatic pose. So you can see he's totally off the air. And that's something that they've done in subsequent figures. If you've noticed, that was the case for the Bardock. He's actually sitting on 2 pins. And they've actually, because of the success of this series, they actually then have made One Piece. So One Piece is one series behind. So this year they released Series 4, whereas Dragon Ball was Series 5. And they've done the same thing with Dragon Ball. The same with the Trunks. As I showed you, this was the winner of the Series 4. So, yeah. Now, if you're looking for these figures, if you go to our store, again, the link is in the description of this video, and you type in Scultures in the search box, the figures should come up in not just this series, but Series 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you'll probably get the One Piece ones as well. So, for example, this was Android 18, who was the winner of Series 3. He was a Goku from Series 2. So there's been lots of different ones released. But I really wanted to focus on Series 1 because I still feel that this was the best overall series that was released. Another big improvement they actually made with this series was that the mainline Banpresto release before the Sculptures in 2011 was the high quality deluxe figures, the HQDX. And they actually had pins in the bottom of their feet that then inserted into a plastic base. And there's 2 problems with that. Well, there's really only one problem with that, is that usually the pins would actually break. And it's very common to see one of the pins broken in the feet. And once that happens, there's basically no getting it out. With the Sculptures from Series 1, what they did was they actually had the pins in the base going into the hole in the foot, and you may not think that makes a big difference, but actually it does, and it's pretty rare to see broken pins. I guess the reason is because there's a larger surface area attached to the pin, so it's a lot more stable. Sorry, that's not a very interesting view, is it? So I think that was really all I wanted to talk about with the sort of Sculptures series in general. So what I thought I would do is now actually just show you Series 1. Now the last thing I did actually want to mention was that there were actually 8 figures released in this line. The last 2, so these were all, the top 8 were in Crane Games, and the last 2 were actually released as Ichiban Kuji in the lottery prizes. And I've reviewed those figures, but I only have one of them here, which is the Frieza. And the reason I don't have the Goku, so as I said, we sell all these through the store. These particular ones are actually from my own personal collection. The reason I don't have the Goku, Super Saiyan Goku, is I actually have this custom piece. This one we don't sell because it's a custom piece, but that's what I display my Frieza with. If you're wondering, it's probably a little bit big, but the Ichiban Kuji does go very well with the Frieza. Not a massively expensive piece either. So let's now just go through the figures just very quickly, one by one. So this is Frieza. You can actually see the muscles. It's a bit hard to show in the camera under his kind of blue parts. One of the coolest figures I reckon ever been released, that one. Super Saiyan Gohan, great detail in the hair. Vegeta, pretty plain figure, but I really love the sculpt job. Looks very Vegeta-ish. Arms crossed, looking angry. The Super Saiyan 3 Goku, again, probably arguably the best figure being released. Probably my personal favourite. Just an amazing figure. Sorry, that's a bit dark. Android 16. I really like Android 16 as a character and a figure. Dr. Giro. Perfect Cell. And did I show Piccolo? I think I did. Actually, I don't think I did up close. And there's Piccolo, the winner. And that's it. That's the Sculptures Series 1. As I said, there is a Hawaiian Goku on beach stand, which I personally didn't want, but it's still a pretty cool figure. And the Super Saiyan Goku Ichiban Kuji as well. But yeah, as I said, I think this is probably my favorite single series released by any manufacturer of any anime series. I think it's great. It's a great place to start if you're getting into, you know, Japanese collecting or Dragon Ball collecting. No duds in this series, just top quality figures, best figures of any of the characters, and arguably some of the best figures released of any Dragon Ball figures. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this video informative, and if you have any questions or comments, yeah, please leave a comment below. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.